What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Outside the Arena, the fantasy edition of the podcast. I'm Griffin Senek, joined by my co-host, Mac Rommel, and today we have a very exciting episode planned. Basically, we both this weekend, obviously the NFL starts a week from when we are filming this today, and we both are in, some fantasy leagues, and today we are going to go through, have the other person go through all the teams in one of the leagues. So if you're watching out, we'll leave the timestamps below to when the different leagues swap. And we're going to go through, give our opinions, and you guys will be able to see who we like, who we don't like, and for whoever's in our various leagues, who the other person's got as the favorite team. So I'll start out as the one that will share the league. Mac, you ready to get the show on the road?
Oh yes, I'm ready. Let's see if your team is good or not, because you got some good money on the line there.
I do. The entry fee was not necessarily cheap. So here we go. Can you see the screen, Mac?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you're good. Perfect. All right. So this, we will start with my team, and what do you like? What do you don't like?
I really like this team. So, I feel the key to having good teams is I like to have a lot of running backs and then one really good player at each position, which you have Lamar Jackson, easily the best quarterback. That's who I would want. He's so explosive. He's projected 22.9, but that's obviously going to be more with how he rushes. You get 1 point every 10 yards for rushing, and then you get 6 for a touchdown. So he's obviously, I think he's realistic versus Cleveland, could have 30. And then Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the NFL. Is this a PPR league? This is PPR, right?
It is PPR, yeah.
Yeah, so
PPR.
Obviously, Christian McCaffrey's going to have similar points to that or even more.
Yeah, he was an animal last year. Crazy.
Yeah. If he had, he could realistically have 7 to 10, targets per game, and he's catching most of those. So I'd say at least 5 points just from catches each week, plus whatever yardage he gets. So that's your key running back, I'd say. Then wide receiver, you got Mike Evans as your number one. I really like that. The only issue I would have with him is he going to get the ball enough, being spread with Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Gronk, and then now Leonard Fournette. Yeah. So I'm not worried about his talent diminishing or anything like that. I'm just worried about, is the production going to be the same due to the amount of targets he gets? And then
I'll interrupt you there. I just want to put in a point. I definitely agree with that. I think he's a risk, but the way the draft fell for me, there was some trading picks, so I ended up with the first and then 3 picks in the third. So at 29, he was still there, and compared to the other guys, I just felt like it was a risk, but the upside is just so huge there, and I like him. I think he'll be okay. And for 29, I was loving the pick, and you can continue analyzing my team.
Yeah. So now that you said that, now I know why your team is so stacked. You were able to fix. I've never done that before, so that's
no, it's fun. It's a good little preseason.
Definitely better than mine, because I've never traded. I don't even know how it works, but that's pretty sick. And then Travis Kelce, I have him, and I believe this in the league I'm going to show. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I do have him in that league, but it's Travis Kelce. What else could I even say? Also, it's similar to Mike Evans, where they have so many weapons now with Clyde Edwards-Helaire that he can have less targets. But, he just got a huge contract. So
it's Kelce. He'll get the ball. I'm not worried about Kelce. I think he's as sure a thing as you can get at that position for sure.
Especially in the red zone. I think he's going to be amazing. He's going to have a lot of touchdowns this year, I think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that's basically the bulk of my team.
That's your team. Le'Veon and Devontae Parker, I really like.
Yeah, no, I think I think you might be frozen right now. It might be my connection, might be yours. I'm not 100%.
I was losing you there.
I think it's good now. But yeah, Le'Veon Bell. I heard what you said. Le'Veon Bell. I think I've mentioned in previous podcasts I'm big on him, so I snagged him. And Devontae Parker, I think, could be a weapon this year. So that's kind of my team. The bench depth is. Whatever, but we don't have to get too in depth. You can go. Are you there?
All right. Sorry. Yeah, it keeps cutting out. Something with the Wi-Fi and stuff, but we're still going
I
through it.
know.
But yeah, with
We're
Le'Veon,
powering
he
through.
still had a pretty good year last year. He was putting up solid points,
Yeah.
but and that was the worst year of his career. Like
Yeah.
literally, I don't know. Like he couldn't get much worse than that last year.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's had a lot of rust last year because of having the 1 year off, sitting out. So he doesn't even get the training camp feel. It's not like an injury where he at least had some training, like some training camp.
Yeah.
He had literally nothing. So this year's only up for him. It's only going to be up.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a bad year last year. It was just bad for how we're used to seeing Le'Veon. So he's obviously better than last year. And then Devontae Parker, he broke out last year with Miami.
Yeah.
And I think having Tua now, that's going to help him a lot, although Tua may not start right out the gate. But Devontae Parker, in a few weeks, I think when Tua's out there, just a more accurate QB. Hopefully the injury doesn't affect him, but I think Devontae Parker's in for a huge year.
Yeah. No, I'm happy with my team, and I got my man, Tiny Fairbairn, for the second straight year, looking to make it a 2-time champion. He's a legend. I had to name the team after him. Next team we're going to go to, Team Sauget. Teo, if you're watching, this will be a ranking of your team. Mac, what do you think about this team?
Let's see it. So, oh, wait. Okay, sorry. Something popped up on my screen, but I'm back now. Okay. What the hell? Here it goes again. Sorry, technical difficulties, but
we're having some issues today. We are powering through, though. Sorry I think it should be fine. We'll be all right. All right. Teo's team, what are you thinking?
Okay, so I'm going to stop. Not even going through it before I even go into the players. It's not as good as yours. I'm sorry. You're probably watching this, but it's not. Zach, I love him.
Promise. I swear I didn't say anything before this about him, like, boosting my team or anything. Like, I swear I didn't say anything. The power rankings they give did put me at 1, a little boost to the ego there, but I think it's a solid team. But what are you thinking? Break it down for me.
So for Dak, I like that pick, especially. I'm not sure what round he got Dak in, but I love that as a pick.
Yeah. You got him at 57, so like a 6th round.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for Dak. I think 3 QBs, they're all in the same tier. I think first it's Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. They're in their own tier, which you got, and then Dak, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson. I think they're in that second tier, and they're all basically grouped together. You can't go wrong with any of them. So that's a really good. I like that. It's a good value. I think that's a good spot for Dak. And then Alvin Kamara. They know our take on this. Like, unless they didn't watch, we're not. Well, I'm at least not a big Kamara fan this year. Especially look at the news. Like, it's so confusing. Is he going to be playing for them this year? Not just based on if he wants to, but does the team want him to? I know the team said they want him week 1, but I'm not sure. Like, so that's even more shaky. Like, how I feel more shaky on him now that before. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Joe Mixon, I should have mentioned this in the sleeper episodes, but he's not really a sleeper now. But he's always been one of my favorite running backs. I've always tried to get him in every draft the past 2 years, except for this year now because he's not really a sleeper anymore.
He's early.
Pretty high.
Yeah, second. I think he went 17 or something like that. Pretty high.
I love Joe Mixon, and he's only gonna have a better year this year. Last year he produced great, and he didn't have a quarterback, and he didn't have a number 1 wideout. And this year now you have AJ Green back, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. So now they're not focusing on you. You're not the main focal point of the offense that they're going to be trying to stop you. You're not getting 8 man in the box for you. It's going to be spread out. You're going to have more runs, more big runs from him, more explosive. So I'm excited for Joe Mixon. He's had a great year. I really like that pick. And then wide receivers, I think my wide receivers are kind of similar to this and the league I'm going to show. They're not top-notch, but they're players who could get it done. Obviously, you see projected about 14 each. I don't think they're going to get 14. I think they're more about 10 type of players. Not most explosive, but also with Detroit, they got DeAndre Swift. So I think they're going to be running a lot more this year too. So
they will have – I mean, I think the Lions, like Marvin Jones is my flex. I think those kind of guys have huge games like that, but they're not – they're not in the top tier, obviously, and I think the same is for Robert Woods. But they're solid guys who are going to be there. And I like his team for that. I love his backs too. And you haven't said anything about him yet because you haven't gotten there. But James Conner at the flex is a little risky, but it's a solid. You've got 3 solid backs on the team, which is great.
Yeah. So with Kenny Galladay and Robert Woods, they're like the type of players, they're going to be consistent. That's what I like. Except you see some of these big name players, they're not consistent. Like they'll have a few off games, but then really good games. But with these guys, they're consistent, average players, but then they'll have that 2 or 3 games per year that you'll win, that'll really help you win when they're going for about 20 plus points out of nowhere. They just break out for a game. And then down to tight end at Hunter Henry. I love Hunter Henry. He's amazing. He was great. He's great when he's not injured. That's the only problem with him.
Yeah.
Gets injured a lot. I have him in one of my leagues as well. But he's projected 9.8. That's low if he's playing how he does when he's not hurt.
They have a lot of weapons.
Yeah. But I realistically think Hunter Henry could be a 13-ish point guy consistently week in and week out if he's not injured. And then James Conner, like you said, he's an amazing player. Just has to work on the consistency a bit after last year. 2 years ago, he was insane. And I think with Big Ben being back, defense are going to have to worry about the pass game more too now, not just the run game. So he's going to have a better year, of course, this year with Big Ben back. And then just quickly, Ravens defense. You're getting interceptions. So you're getting points there. 2 per interception? Okay, I'll take it.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Teo's team. Teo, if you're watching, I hope you hope you enjoyed some of those takes. Next will be Nikki Wynn's team, nicknamed IBM Watson after the infamous new trade suggester that is horrible. So we got a new ball club here. Give me a few names. Break it down. What do you like?
Now that you said the trade suggester, I just want to quickly say I got offered one of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life. It's so funny.
Shout out IBM Watson. Feel free to sponsor the podcast, though. Well, if anyone's watching, IBM Watson collect. But the trade analyzer is a little scuffed. But you could have the best podcast on YouTube as your sponsor. And so.
And you know how it has like a little bar for the fairness?
Yeah.
Mine is always at the bottom. It's like the bottom bar or something. And it's like it's not fair for that. It's really fair for them. They want it, but what the heck am I gonna do with that? You're screwing me. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Right. But all right, we'll go QB, Tom Brady. I don't really like him this year either. I don't know. I just feel like they're the 29th.
I think he's gonna be good. I like him. I think he's got weapons. I think he's gonna pass the ball decent amount, but that's me.
I don't know. That's me. I got that. I get the feel of the 2019 Brown season from Tampa Bay. So I don't know. That's my take on the team.
Fair assessment.
I'm not ranking Tom Brady as high.
I think it's Brady versus Baker. I mean, I think that's a little big of a difference. I mean, 6 rings, no rings. I mean,
Baker's on his way up. Brady's on his way down.
Yeah, it's still Brady, though. I mean, I hate to say it as a Jets fan, but talk to me about his backs. What do you like in there?
So Eckler and Sanders, I love these guys. I think they're in that second to third tier of running backs. I use Fantasy Pros. I love the rankings because I really agree with them. And they're like, they're some of the best running backs. They're going to consistently, you see 15.5 and 16.1 projected. I think they could consistently put up numbers, maybe not exactly like that, but close to that. And once again, I think they're the type of running backs where they could have those consistent, maybe like 14-point games, and then they'll have a 30-point game, just blow up out of nowhere. And I think for Miles Sanders, he has a chance this week 1, if not injured, he's completely healthy. I think he has a chance to potentially have one of those breakout games versus Washington, although they have a very good defensive front. But I feel Philadelphia's offensive line, although not having Andre Dillard now, I think if they could clear a hole and get Miles Sanders to second level, and they could do that consistently, he's going to have a great week 1. So I'm excited for him week 1. I think he's going to be great. Chris Godwin, I like him a lot too, but same thing with Mike Evans. I don't really have to explain it that much. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you went in depth with that.
Yeah, so Then A.J. Brown. I don't like him as a number 2 wide receiver. I like him more as a flex potentially, or even a bench, kind of rotate him in. I don't think
He does
he's
got he is Ridley too, so
yeah.
I think the combo of those guys is, it's a little I think that's solid, something to work with.
Mhm. Yeah, but A.J. Brown, I love him as a real life player. I love how he plays, but I don't
Mm,
think he's not consistent enough where he's going to get you those 10+ point games every single week. He's
yeah.
the he's the number 1 receiving target over there. We also have Corey Davis over there, who's been only getting better since being drafted. I think 5th overall a few years ago, but
Yeah.
I
Definitely
feel now,
he was broke out at the end in the playoffs, but he has been, as you can see, a little inconsistent across his rookie season, but still a solid pickup, I think.
yeah, and then also we
Drafted
saw
32.
32, yeah. And in the playoffs, we saw they switched to Derrick Henry. Like they were kind of with the pass a little bit more during the regular season, but then in the playoffs,
Yeah.
Derrick Henry kind of took off. So I feel they got to follow the same blueprint. Like in the playoffs, Ryan Tannehill was throwing for 70 yards a game, letting Derrick Henry carry them through the playoffs. And I think if they want to actually make a run in real life, forget about fantasy, they're gonna have to run the ball a lot more,
Yeah.
just like they were in the playoffs. So I think AJ Brown's gonna be a little less consistent this year. And then Hayden
Gotcha.
Hurst, obviously, new tight end there in Atlanta. He was a
Hmm.
backup, Baltimore,
Andrews,
but
Mark Andrews. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not sure to really project him because he hasn't had the starting role. But I
Hmm.
think he's gonna be a solid
Yeah.
player. He was also taken before Mark Andrews, so they thought it was gonna be better, but it ended up that Mark Andrews was
Yeah.
that type
I
of
think
player.
with Hurst, I'll just interrupt you. Sorry. I think he could if he gets the Austin Hooper production type from last year, that could be a top tight end. So I think it's a solid selection for a tight end. I remember he went pretty late too. The one concern I have, I'll just say, is that he has both Hurst and Ridley. I don't love, especially with this COVID year, if a team goes down, you're not going to want to have too many guys from the same team. So Hurst and Ridley, um, it's tough, especially with Julio on that and Gurley on that offense. That if they're not scoring too much, your overall team is going to be effective.
Yeah, I like what you said for those two positions. But before we go to whatever's next, I just want to say,
Mm-hmm.
look at his bench real quick.
So
Three
it's a very good bench.
three rookies, and what I love about that is one of them is going to break out and be good. You got three, so
Mm-hmm.
even though two may be bust, I think the broadness of how many rookies you have, one's going to be great. And I think that
Yeah.
rookie is going to be Cam Akers. Something about how he plays, his toughness and quick speed on his built body. I think he's kind of like a Mark Ingram, just a very
Mm,
similar build and kind of speed and play style. So I think he
I
has
like
potential
that.
to be a really good running back this year. So I just want to put that out real quick.
I agree. I think he's got great depth on the bench, and that he's also got some cuffs, which is always important. You want to have those guys locked up. We'll go to the next team, Team Sutton Death, Joey's team. Now he did draft Ronald Jones, and the draft was held before the Fournette signing was announced. So he did draft Ronald Jones as RB2, which did hurt him. But as you can see, he's got an all right team that could make a push. He's got some upside here. So what are you thinking? Give me a breakdown.
I really like this team. Josh Allen, I have
Okay.
him in my league. You're gonna see, but Josh Allen, I think he's bound for a big year. Stephon Diggs, I really don't have to explain that. That's gonna honestly help him, and he had a really good year last year too. He's only
Mm-hmm.
developing, and now that he has a real deep threat who can win contested catches, not just with speed like John Brown or Cole Beasley in the slot, he has someone who could do anything all over the field, and that's gonna help widen the defenses and just spread them out. So then, say there's Cole Beasley or John Brown, they're gonna be open if they're focusing on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
So, and then Derrick Henry, you heard me talk about him with the other players. I don't need to get into him. He's gonna be the workhorse of that offense. He's gonna be great. Put up a lot of points. Very consistent too. Raheem Mostert, good pick. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that pick though, because they have so
Mm-hmm.
much depth on that roster.
They
And
do.
like last year, they were basically just spreading out the carries at first and then seeing whoever's having the best game in like the first quarter, that's who they're going to keep for the rest
Keep
of the
going.
game.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. I think he
broke
has
out.
the upside, though. I'll just interrupt real quick. Just as you see these last 6 weeks when he started to get the ball a lot, he did put up great numbers. So I think, it might not be – you might want to have him like as a flex/bench guy, but he has potential to be a good RB2.
Yeah, and especially I think it was the NFC Championship game where he ran for over 203 touchdowns. So he also has that explosiveness in him. I'm just not sure how the 49ers are going to be handling their running backs with Tevin Coleman too.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to see how they use it. But if he is a starter, then obviously that's a great pick. Then D-Hop with his new team, Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, MVP. I think MVP. He has that chance. Yes, that's my
MVP,
take.
that's a little bold in my book. I still think that O-line's going to be a little patchy, but that's interesting. So you think Diop's going to have a big year?
I think he is. Yeah, he's gonna help that offense a lot. And then they got Kenny and Drake as well back in the run game. I think he's gonna have a better season than David Johnson. Just
interesting.
Because
I agree. I think so too. I think David Johnson's a wash kind of.
Yeah, now he's on the Texans. He's a good depth player, obviously, but I think Kenny Drake's.
He ain't D-Hop. Yeah.
And then I think Kenny
What's
Drake's
one more guy you like on this team? If you had to go one more out of the main guys, who are you liking?
Cortland Sutton. I was going to say, I love him. I love him. He's, right now, outside of the Cowboys players, he's my favorite wide receiver in the league. I love how he plays. I don't have to say go watch his tape. Just go pull up his highlights, and that'll explain everything. Just watch how he plays. I don't have to explain. Pull up his highlights. That's all you got to know. Oh, my gosh. He's an amazing player.
Yeah. I like his Mark Andrews, Terry McLaurin picks as well. I think he's got, solid. No, it's laggy. I know. We're powering through right now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Everyone, that will do it for Team Sutton Death. We had some technical difficulties during that one, but overall, I think Mac's liking that team. I think it's a solid team with guys that got some upside. And I'm not connected to the internet now. Lovely. This is a disaster. What the heck is going on? Do-do-do. Do-do-do. No. I'm back. We are.
There goes your internet. Now you have to log back in.
What the hell is going on? This is gonna be a disaster. Oh boy, that's all I gotta say to this one. This is Greg's team right now without a defense. So I think he's picking one up tomorrow. Give me a quick breakdown of this one. You got a few guys. You got a few names that stand out to you.
Kyler Murray, I said it. I think he's an MVP candidate. And then obviously that second tier, you heard me talk about that. Saquon Barkley, second or third best running back in the league. Basically, you could argue that either way you want for Zeke or Saquon second. And then but this year, I think Zeke or Saquon could pass CMC potentially. Maybe not in production and fantasy, but in real life. Saquon's going to have a great year with Andrew Thomas, so I really like him. David Johnson, we spoke on him before. We're not too sure about him. I think we got to see how he plays first before making any comments.
I agree.
Kittle. It's Kittle. Beast.
Number 2 tight end I had on my board.
Highest paid tight end in NFL history now. So he's definitely getting targets. You don't got to worry about anything with him. He's going to be great this year. He's going to put up great numbers, 16 points this week.
Yeah.
He's going to put up more for you. I can promise you that. And then Cooper Kupp, I'm not sure how long he's going to last. I think he's going to get injured again. He's too injury prone. He's kind of like the Carson Wentz of wide receivers, honestly. But
I like that.
Just
Cooper Carson.
Keep in there until he's hurt, because I'm saying until he is hurt, because I know he is going to get hurt at some point.
You think he's going down? Interesting. What do you think about I'll ask kind of as a final wrap-up. We do see he has Fournette. We talked about him earlier. Production will be risky. But one guy that, I'm looking at Odell Beckham Jr. Last year was a down year, obviously, for him and the Browns. But do you think that, he goes here at pick 42, so not a bad place for him again. He might have even dropped. But what do you think Odell, is going to have a big year? Do you think he's, wide receiver 2 maybe has some upside? What do you think with Odell?
He's for sure going to be better than last year. I think the key thing to why his production dropped last year, people were blaming on Baker and just not being with the Giants. But you got to forget, it was his first team on a new team, his first year on a new team. But this year he also has a new head coach. So it's going to be the same situation as last year in regards to scheme, learning new things. But the main point is last year at the end of the season, he came out, he was playing injured the whole year. Whole year. I believe it was something with his ankle. I could be wrong, though. But I believe it was with his ankle. And that's really important for wide receivers. And now that he's back to 100%, he's obviously going to have a better year than last year. I don't think having the injuries, he's going to get back to that top 3 receiver. But he's going to be great. I think he could be top 5, maybe even top 10. And I think he'll end up being that number 1 receiver on your fantasy team.
Wow. Overall ranking of this team, what do you just if you had to give it a letter grade, what are you giving it?
I'm giving that a B.
A B, okay.
B.
Halfway done, who's your favorite team so far?
Yours.
Who's the least favorite?
Least favorite? Last one or this one? Maybe this one. Because I don't like some of the spots.
Yeah, interesting.
Before
we'll go to the next team. Sorry.
Fournette watch, and maybe you'll have to end up putting him in there. We've got to see about that.
That's facts. Next team will be Wes's team, Team Neidhart. Yeah, I mean, Wes, he had I don't know if he had he might have traded out of the first round. So this is the squad. What are you thinking?
Okay, so he has good depth. I just want to see that because his starting team isn't, one of the better teams, but yeah, it looks like he has really good depth there, so I'm not complaining. He'll be good on those bye weeks. But Wentz, let's start off with him. I have him in one of my ESPN leagues, but injuries, once again, I don't know how that's going to work out. But he's a good quarterback. I believe he's in that tier, in the 3rd tier behind Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and Dak Prescott. I think he's in the tier below that. And if he doesn't get hurt, great. He's going to have a great year. He could be one of the better fantasy quarterbacks in that 2nd tier potentially too. Aaron Jones. I love Aaron Jones as a player, but I am so confused with what the Packers are thinking. Like, what are they thinking? Like, they don't want to use him as much as they did last year. Like, they want to split carries more. Like, what the heck are you thinking? You literally carried your team against my Dallas Cowboys. He had touchdowns. You kidding me?
He went off. It's crazy.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know what the Packers are thinking.
Let's look at that game. It was
that one hurt.
Week 5, 19 carries, 170 yards, 4 touchdowns, almost 50 fantasy points. I mean, that is crazy. I think that's a great pick. I love that pick. Chris Carson, I want to hear this. He goes at 28 in this draft. Okay. What do you think about that?
I like him as a player. Seattle, obviously, they don't have the best offensive line. I'm not sure about that, but he's a good player. I just don't like where you picked him. I think you should have waited on him a little bit, but he's going to be a solid player. And obviously, you may have had to get him that early. I'm not sure how the board fell, but because there may have been running backs, they may have been almost gone by the time your next pick came. You wouldn't have been able to get another starting running back that you felt comfortable with. So it all depends on the situation for how you pick Chris Carson. I think he's a good player, but I think where you got him is a bit of a reach. And then Julio,
he's great. He's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he just has to get his touchdown production up a little bit because he's been having those slow starts with touchdowns. But aside from that, he's top 2 receiver, one of the best actual receivers in the NFL. So he's going to have a great year. Just got to get those touchdowns up. And then DJ Chark is in for a big year. I think Minshew is going to have a really good season with DJ Chark. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the only guy he's going to be able to get the ball to this year. Yeah. So that could be a little risky. We'll go to the Zeke Freak now. Benny Big Guns, as he's known by. I think he has a very strong team.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, this team's a great team. I think it's right up there. In honesty, I think it's right up there with mine. But what do you think? And who
You're
are you liking? Who's catching your eye?
you're getting a run for your money here. You got Russell Wilson, that tier 2 running back who could be a tier 1 as well. With if he runs the ball a little bit more, scrambles, we know he obviously has the ability to do that. Great pick. Zeke, I'm a Cowboys fan.
You love Zeke.
I love him.
You're big on Zeke. We don't have to get into Zeke. We know you love your Zeke.
Melvin Gordon, it looks like really the only shaky pick for me here. Melvin Gordon, he's a good player, but the only thing I have a problem with is until the season starts, you have to see how the season unfolds, but we got to see how the carries are going to be split between him and Philip Lindsay. But other than that, I think he's a great player. I think he's going to a better offensive line in reality, so great player. Tyreek Hill. Oh, boy. He's going to light you up when you guys play. I think that'll be a deciding factor.
I think Kelsey's going to get the tutties now. I mean, if Kelsey's getting the tutties, that'll be a fun matchup. I don't know. I forget when we play, but luckily I don't have to play him twice. I think this is a great team.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, the speedster. He has those great games too. And 16.8 projected points. I think he's going to consistently get you about 16. And then he obviously is going to have those great games where I think he's going 25 points at times. But his consistency at a high level is insane. So that's a really good pick. And then Allen Robinson, I think he's a good player. Not totally sold on him. I know a lot of people are high on him. That's why I'm not bashing this pick. I know a lot of people like him. I've never really liked him that much as a player personally. But I think it depends who's the starter for the team. If Nick is the starter, great year. Mr. Trubisky, you may have to sub him out. And then
I think he'll be good. I mean, you look at his production last year, he had 98 catches for over 1,000 yards, So I think he'll be solid. I don't think he'll drop 254 again, personally. I just don't think he will. That's pretty high numbers. But, anything else you got to say about this team? Or
just Darren Waller. Everyone, if you've watched previous episodes, you know how I feel about him. I think he's one of the better tight ends in fantasy football. He gets a lot of points.
No, I agree. If originally I had Waller. Oh, sorry. I'll just go. I had Waller in my plans until the board fell to Kelsey at my pick. I didn't think Kelsey would be there. So when I had the chance to take Kelsey, I'm not going to say no to that. So, but I love Waller too. I think Juju's in for a bounce back here as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's really it for
All right, next team.
Well-rounded.
Yeah, no, he's got a solid bench too. Great. Kerryon Johnson, not bad. Got some young guys there. We'll see. It should be interesting. Should be an interesting team. I think he's going to have some success. The next team Make-A-Wish, otherwise known as Team Storkin. It's a dual ownership, Callum and Johnny. Johnny lost the league last year, so he had to grab some help, but they had a successful draft, I think. I think they got a really solid team on here. So what are you thinking?
First, I want to say that's pretty sick that they're going the dual team, like doing it together. I haven't heard of anyone do that yet, so that's sick. 2 things I've never heard anyone do: the double team and doing the trading. I've known there was trading, but I've never seen anyone do it. So
you gotta, I don't know. We're just feeling it. What are you liking about this team?
Deshaun Watson, that tier 3, right below. I think so. In that tier 3, I think it's debatable for Wentz or Watson at that top spot in that tier 3. I think Watson will probably edge that out. I think he's a better quarterback. But in fantasy, I think Wentz is a better quarterback at times, depending on his injuries. And then Kenyon Drake, we talked a little bit about him before. I love him this year, actually. I think they're going to use him a lot in the pass game, I think that's their main goal of how they want to use him. With not the best offensive line, they got Josh Jones. But if they use him in the pass game a lot, which I think that's their plans, he's going to get a lot of points just based off catches. I love him. Yeah. I'm assuming he got him first, second round pick, but I would have taken him with the first round pick.
Yeah, I believe second round.
So, yeah, late in the first round, I think that's where he would fit perfectly. So he got him in second. That's great value. Nick Chubb, obviously, I think it's kind of a Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation too, where there's a lot to spread around. David Njoku, tight end, Jarvis Landry, OBJ, but he's a very strong running back, and he's going to break through for a lot of big runs.
Yeah. I think skill-wise, he's up there. production fantasy-wise this year. He fell to, I believe, 19 in the draft. And for me, like I've told them this, that I would have gone Kelsey there personally. I just think you got to go for a sure thing. And while Chubb's a great back, and backs are hard to come by, I think there's a huge risk with especially Kareem Hunt there. It's too risky for me to be. He's not a sure thing. His talent is undeniably, he's a great back, but just production-wise, I think he's going to be too touchdown dependent without getting those receptions. So he worries me a bit on that end. But overall, I mean, as an RB2, he's solid.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll touch upon on this team, you guys see the team. It's a well-rounded team, but Michael Thomas, obviously, he was definitely the first-round pick. He's in for a big year this year, too. I think, again, he's not going to get that year that he had last year. Where
I don't think he'll do
the most
374 points again.
And almost 150 catches. Like, heck no. He's not getting that. Yeah. That's really what carried him to be the best receiver. I think he's going to get, of course, over 100 catches, but 150, that's a bit of a reach. So
especially with Emmanuel Sanders coming in too.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe like 50 points, maybe less than he had last year. Just based on those catches, I think. But if he's getting less catches, I think he's going to have a lot more yards. I don't know. You understand, though. So
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Overall, if you had to rate it, give it a little letter grade, what are you thinking?
A-. And then
anyone get an A?
You and that other guy have an A.
Ben, me and Ben got the A's. All right. Shout out Ben. Ben, if you're watching this, we got the rating, and shout out Storkin. They had a great draft. I think they did pretty well with what they had. We'll go to Luke Best next time up. You're gonna be a little surprised with this one. I think you can tell his fandom right away from the ball club, but he's got some picks that I like here, so I'm interested to see what you think. What are you thinking?
We'll start with quarterback. He definitely waited a bit too long for a quarterback. I can tell you that.
No, he actually didn't. He went Daniel Jones. Was picked 74th in the 8th round.
This is
this draft.
If you're watching this is how I feel. What are you doing? You could have picked him up in the freaking waivers. What are you doing? Why would you take him the 8th round when you could get someone with more depth? Like, come on. Or you could even get
Belarus.
Like, why not get a better quarterback? I know for a fact there was a better quarterback there, too. I don't know who it was.
He got Aaron Rodgers off the bench, though. He has Aaron Rodgers on the bench.
Why are you – I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but why are you starting Daniel Jones over Aaron Rodgers? Why?
Dan's the man, baby. He's liking what Coach Joe Judge is doing over there. He's going Daniel Jones. He's a Giants fan, so he's a big fan. But we'll move past your probably also hatred for the Giants, too. So let's go to his backs. What are you liking there?
Oh, Josh Jacobs. He's going to have a great year, too. Great rookie year. I think he arguably could have been last year's Rookie of the Year. I think last year, you know how I say Kyler Murray's an MVP candidate this year? Last year, I do think that Josh Jacobs did have a better year. I think he deserved that Rookie of the Year last year, but this year, obviously, Kyler, I think he's been way better. Josh Jacobs, so strong, and he's consistent. He's getting these he can consistently get over 5 yards per carry, without a doubt, without a struggle. The only problem with his team, and that could affect how he runs the ball, is the aging offensive line.
Yeah, I agree with that. Gurley, I want to hear your take on Gurley. What's your take on Gurley?
I like him. He's gonna have. I think he's consistent. He's definitely gonna get 14 points per game, if not injured. If not injured, that's the key.
Yes, that's the key. That's the key with Tom.
He's obviously.
I think his receivers. You can go. Sorry, you had more.
Sorry. No, you got that. You got it.
No, you go. It's your explanation. I'm just trying to, make sure.
Yeah. So he's obviously on a new team. Big receivers, great receivers. Which. I feel that's the difference between the Rams and the Falcons. And how we were saying how the Bucs, how they have a lot of receivers, so we're not sure how Fournette's going to fit in there. But I think having Ridley and Julio are actually going to help him. They're going to take the stress off of him because they really didn't have anyone in the pass game that was top-notch They had
I
good
mean,
guys.
Cooper Cup, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks. I mean, that was arguably one of the best trios in the league last year when you're
But
looking
no
at it.
one top notch. So I'm not doubling any one of those guys.
All right,
I'm using
that's
three
fine.
corners for each one of for all three receivers. I'm not using 4 for 3. Where
Yeah,
here
I get that.
you're using 3 for 2, and then you're obviously gonna have 4 corners on their with their third receiver included. So that's obviously one less player that you have in the box. So even if you're having 8-man boxes with the rest manned up on your receivers and whoever else is out there, Gurley is
Yeah,
going to have at least one less person in the box, and that's obviously going to help him with his injuries, not going to be taking as much impact.
yeah. I think his receivers, I don't even know how much we have to touch on those. Those guys are, all they'll hit their projections. They're all doing well. I like the picks there. One thing I'll ask before we move on to the final team, I believe. The bench, again, more rookies. He's got Jonathan Taylor, Jerry Jeudy. I think these are 2 of the higher-end fantasy rookies this year, too. So what do you think about this bench?
With Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to start with him. I'm not sure how many carries he's going to have with Marlon Mack back there. So, and Marlon Mack has been very consistent. So he's obviously going to be getting a lot of carries too. It seems like they're going to have Jonathan Taylor as the starter, but obviously, I think Marlon Mack could win the job. I'm not sure how Jonathan Taylor is going to play this year, but
Interesting.
if he is that for sure starter for the year, good pick. Jerry Jeudy, love him. I think CD and him are top 2 receivers from that draft pretty easily. And they always have rookie receivers with low fantasy projections. Like, they're obviously going to get more than that.
Yeah.
Jeudy
I like Jeudy. I think his upside's pretty good.
Yeah.
They
Like
say he's kind of shaky flex. They say he has wide – down the road. Okay. I didn't know what they're saying. All right. Last team of the Hackley League. And then I think, since we don't want to make these episodes too long, we're already probably close to 40 minutes for this one. We will do a separate episode that'll be posted at the same time for Max League, just so it's easier to watch and, whoever's watching can pick the one to want instead of having to zoom through all of this. So we'll make a separate episode just to clarify. So you'll probably be able to see it if you're watching this and want to watch the other one. Max will be a separate video. He will be showing his league off there. So the final team in this one is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Nicky, another Nicky Decod. He's got a solid club. Another guy who he's got Vikings defense, but I think he's planning to go someone else. What are you thinking about this team?
Everyone should know, I am a running back guy.
Mm-hmm.
We just got Dalvin Cook and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Your team, just from those 2 picks alone, set you apart. Although your projection isn't as high, I'm automatically putting that up in the A with you guys. I don't care about the rest of his team. Those 2 picks alone, do put them in the A for me. That running back carry you in your leagues, and that's how you win. Having those
Helaire, Helaire, I will get into Helaire in your league. I'll give my take there because it's a take. But I mean, I don't know, but I think it's a great team. He's got Mahomes. The one thing I just ask, since you already have said you love it in A, receiver wise, are you a little worried there? Do you think it could kind of hurt this team here?
Yeah, that's really the only thing I'm kind of shaky about with this team. Of course, Zach Ertz, great tight end. He was always considered top 3 the past few years until this year where he's kind of bounced back. So I'm assuming you got great value for him. He's going to have a great year this year. DK, I love. I think he'd be a top 10 receiver this year as well. His build last year, just building off what he did last year, I think he could even overtake Tyler Lockett as the number 1 receiver there in Seattle. And then Stephon Diggs, I think he is going to have the best year of his career this year. Just
interesting.
Although, on a new team, better quarterback, obviously. I think best quarterback he's had in a few years now.
I don't know. Passing wise, the deep ball is a little inconsistent. They're different quarterbacks. I mean, Kirk got the ball you can't not say, he got the Vikings he got them past the Saints, with great deep ball passing. I mean, that won them that Saints game, and that's undeniable. In the overtime, I believe he made a great deep passes to Diggs or Thielen, someone like that. But Josh Allen's inconsistency with the deep ball worries me a little bit there. I'll just say that.
But
You're not sold, though. you
like,
think?
I think the deep ball is what's
disagree.
special with Josh Allen. Not his accuracy may not be the best, but
he does have a cannon. He does have a
between
cannon.
him and Mahomes for the strongest arm in the NFL, easily.
That's true.
I really like that, especially with the deep. Even if it's not throwing Stephon Diggs deep, Stephon Diggs is versatile. And then in Minnesota, he obviously had Adam Thielen, and he's downgrading at that number as who's going to be lined up next to him. But he upgraded in the slot, so they're going to have to focus on 3 players, not just 2, where they're doubling one of them and then the other one solo. They're most likely going to double Stephon Diggs a lot, and then you're going to have 2 corners on Cole Beasley and John Brown. But taking the stress off of him with a nice slot receiver and just those intermediate routes by Cole Beasley, I think that's going to help open up the field. I said it multiple times before with other players too, but I love the things slot receivers do for teams. I think that's going to help him. And I love his workouts. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but his workouts this summer, they're top notch.
I've heard good things. I've heard a lot of people saying Diggs.
Yeah, like
he's looking good.
Of course, they look like that in practice, and then they may not bring it over.
It's a good sign, though. I mean, you don't want to hear the Lev Bell is a little scary. He's a little right now, but I feel like Lev could get it going. But yeah, it's always great to hear good news about your guys. I feel like
and then the last thing I want to put with him is he looks super fast now. On that video of him on the treadmill going, I think it was 23 miles an hour on a treadmill. That is
crazy.
Talk about speed, working on speed. So now not only does he just have the receiving skills and tools to be a playmaker in all aspects of the receiving game, but now he has the speed too. So he's going to burn you aside from just making plays and catching over you.
Yeah. Well, that I guess will do it for my league. He's got, my team, Nikki and Ben's team as the top 3 teams in the league, which I kind of agree with, honestly. I'm not trying to be, say my team's, just because I have faith in my team. Obviously, I have faith in my team, but I do think my talent is there on the roster. But that will do it for this fantasy episode of Outside the Arena. Be sure, if you have not already, to go watch the other video that we will post, which will be Max League. He will be leading that one, and I'll be, going in depth on those players in his league. But thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And be sure on the lookout for more uploads.